Intention. In our house, we have an image and ideal life, our relationship, how we spend our time at work and future, what we want to achieve. But now, we'll figure out what drives these ambitions, whether they're likely to make us truly happy, and whether happiness is even the right target. Success doesn't guarantee happiness, and happiness doesn't require success. They can feed each other, and we can have them at the same time, but they are not intertwined. Hmm. Don't mind. When the five senses in our mind are stilled, when the reasoning intellect rests in silence, then begin the heights to pass. When the five senses in our mind are stilled, when the reasoning intellect rests in silence, then begins the heights to pass. The monkey mind. The mind is compared to a drunken monkey that has been beaten by the scorpion and haunted by ghosts. We humans have roughly 70,000 separate thoughts each day. Other than that, our brains are thinking forward and back and forth. I'm sorry. Other than that, our brains are thinking forward and backward, filling in ideas at the present time based on what experienced in the past and anticipating what is to come. Most of the time, your brain is not reacting to events in the world. It's predicting. That's right. Consistently guessing what's going to happen next. That's right. Why just spend my time useless things, or just predicting what's gonna happen today or something like this. Okay, it starts as in a branch, and our mind says monkey swinging from one branch. I'm sorry. From one branch to the next, often aimlessly. This almost sounds like fun, but as we all know, it is anything but. Usually, those thoughts and fears concerning negativity and distress. What will happen this week at work? What should I eat for dinner? Have I saved enough for the holiday this year? Why is my date 5 minutes late? Why am I here? These are all general questions that deserve answers, but none of them will be resolved while we swing from branch to branch, dot to dot. This is the jungle of the untrained mind. True growth requires an understanding the mind. It is the filter, judge, and director of all our experiences, but as evidenced by the conflict that I feel on my shower adventure, we are not always one of mind. The more we can elevate, understand, train, and strengthen our relationship with the mind. 맞아요. Just now, I really need this one. Okay, the more successfully we navigate our lives and overcome challenges. Okay, the more we can evaluate. Did I say elevate or evaluate? Okay, this sentence so beautiful. Okay, where is it? Okay, here. The more we can evaluate, understand, transcend, and strengthen our relationship with the mind, the more successfully we navigate our lives and overcome challenges. This is better in our manage ways over the smallest daily choices. Do I have to navigate it right now or in the biggest? Should I end this relationship? All of us face such battles each single day. These dilemmas in which all of us agonize. agonize over. An elder tells his grandson, every choice in life is battle between the two wolves inside us. One represents anger, envy, greed, fear, lies, insecurity, and ego. I mean, smoothly, just like naturally, like water flow. The other represents peace, love, compassion, kindness, humility, and positivity. They're competing for supremacy. Which of wins? The grandson asks. The one you feed, the elder replies. But how do we feed them? I asked my teacher. The monk said, by what we read and hear, by who we spend time with, by what we do with our time, by where we focus on our energy and attention. What? Who? Do? Where? Okay. The monk said, by what we read and hear, by who we spend time with, by what we do with our time, by where we focus on our energy and attention. Stays in for him who has conquered the mind. The mind is the best of friends, but for one who has failed to do so, his very mind will be the greatest enemy. The word enemy may seem too strong to describe the voice of a dissent in your head, but the definition rings true. A thing that harms or weakens something, sometimes our own mind work against us. 맞아요. They convince us that something, then make us feel guilty or bad about it, often because it's gone against our values and morals. Okay. A thing that harms and weakens something, sometimes our own minds work against us. They convince us to do something, then make us feel guilty or bad about it, often because it's gone against our values or morals. People who have been asked to recall an unethical action said they felt physically heavier than those who have been asked to recall a neutral memory. When we procrastinate, there's a conflict between what researchers call our shoe self, or what we feel we should do because it's good for us, and our one self, what we actually want to do in the moment. It made me compare myself to other people instead of concentrating on my own growth. Okay. Focus, focus. Excitement and depression, fortune and misfortune, pleasure and pain are stones in a tiny private shell-bound rim which we take to be the whole of existence. It makes sense then that with the Buddha finally reached the rim utterly beyond the reach of thought. He described the feelings like in a chick breaking out of its shell. I learned something that has been crucial in the curbing these dangerous, self-destructive thoughts. Our thoughts are like a cloud passing by. The self, like the sun, is always there. We are not our mind. As in an interaction, the quality of our communication with the mind is based on the history of our relationship with it. Are we hot-headed, combatant, or stubborn, or unwilling to engage? Do we have the same arguments over and over again? Or do we listen and compromise? Most of us don't know the history of this interrelationship because we never taken the time to reflect on it. The monkey mind is a child and the monkey mind is an adult. Monkey mind is a child and the monk mind is adult. A child cries and when doesn't get what it wants. ignoring what it always had. A child struggles to appreciate real value. When something challenges in some way, the childlike mind reacts immediately. Maybe you feel insulted and make a sore face, or you start defending yourself. A conditioned, automatic reaction like this isn't ideal. If someone pulls out a knife, you feel scared and you bolt. That is not ideal if we're being emotionally defensive because someone has said something we don't want to hear. We don't want to be controlled by automatic reactions in every case, nor do we want to eliminate the child mind altogether. The child mind enables us to be spontaneous, creative, and dynamic, all invaluable qualities, but when it rules us, it can be our downfall. The adult mind reminds us to pause and access the bigger picture, taking time to weigh the default reaction, decide if it's appropriate or a purpose of other options. Okay, propose other options, not purpose. Propose other options. The intelligent parents know what the child needs versus what it wants and can decide what is better for it in the long run. Framing in a conflict this way, parent and child, suggests that when the childlike mind is fully in control, it's because our monk mind has not been developed, strengthened, or hurt. The child gets frustrated through tantrums, and we quickly give it to it. Then we get mad at ourselves. Why am I doing this? What is wrong with me? The parents in small boys, if well trained, it has self-control, reasoning power, and is debating camp, but it can only use the strengths that we give it. It's weaker when tired, hungry, or ignored. When the parent isn't supervising, the child climbs down a counter near the hot stove to get into a cookie jar, and the trouble flows. On the other hand, if the parents are too controlling, the child gets in a bitter, resentful, and risk adverse. As with all parent-child-like relationships, striking the right balance is an ongoing balance in moderation, right? Okay. This then is the first step to understanding our minds, simply becoming aware of the different voices inside us. Starting to differentiate what you are hearing will immediately help you make a better decision. When you begin to sort out the multiple voices in your head, the level of the conflict may surprise you. It doesn't make sense. Our minds should work in our own best interest. Our five senses telling us what appeals in the moment, our memories, recalling what we have experienced in the past, and our intellect, synthesizing and evaluating the best choice for the long term. I don't know if this far or not. I don't know. Okay. Okay. It can be hard to know what to tell your monkey when it's finished dwelling on the past and spinning into the future. Sometimes it's good. Father Richard writes, all spiritual teaching, this is another oversimplification, is about how to be present to the moment. But the problem is we're almost always somewhere else, reliving the past and worrying about the future. We all happy memories that we enjoy revisiting and the painful memories that we can't let go. But both nostalgia and the remorse can be the traps, causing us suffering from new experiences and keeping us locked in the unresolved past and or the good old stage. good old days. Just as the past is unchangeable, the future is unknowable. A certain amount of planning is useful, and a good prepared. Okay, I'm going to read this part tomorrow. I think it is better for that. And here. Yes, and this part. Relationships. Every person is world to explore. Studies the regions of world where people live in the longest and healthiest lives. So the worldwide need for this kind of a community. In addition, a diet and a lifestyle practices. That longevity was tied to several aspects of a community, close relationship with family, that will take care of you when you need help, and a tribe with the shared beliefs and healthy social behaviors. Like Digital Jones, the ashram is an independent community and that fosters a mood of collaboration and the service to one another. Everyone is encouraged to look up not just for their own needs, but for those of other people. Remember, the trees in biosphere too that lack the roots and deep enough and with the cement. Redwood trees are another story. Famously tall, you'd think that they need deep roots to survive, but in fact the roots are shallow. What gives the tree resilience is that these roots spread widely. Redwoods are best driven in groups, interweaving. Their roots are so strong and weak together with the standard forces of nature. So then, why expect it back? But also, listen carefully. Whenever you give out any energy, love, hate, anger, kindness, you will always get it back, one way or another. 맞아요. Love is like a circle. Whatever love give you out, it always comes back to you. The problem lies with our expectations. You assume the love you receive will come from the person to give it to. But it doesn't always come from the person. Similarly, there are people who love you who you don't give them the same love in return. He was right. Too often we love people who don't love us, but we fail to return the love of others who do. I thought of my mother, who would always draw whatever she was doing to take my call. If she were to pick up the phone, the first person she'd reach out to would be me or my sister. In her heart, she wanted to talk to me pretty much all the time. At the same time, I might frustrated because someone wasn't responding to my text. My mother was sitting there thinking, I wish my son would call me. My teacher's description of the circle of love changed my life. Our lack of gratitude is what makes us feel unloved. When we think nobody cares, we need to check ourselves and realize that the love we give out comes back to us from a variety of sources and in more general senses. Whatever we put out will come back to us. This is an example of karma. The idea that your actions, good or bad, bring the same back to you. When we feel unloved, we need to ask ourselves, am I offering help? Is an offering asking for help? Who is giving to me without receiving anything in return? It makes sense that in the monks, look at the description of love and care as a network of compassion rather than a one-to-one exchange. Monks visit different people serve different purposes, with each role contributing to our growth in its own way. I'm not gonna read this one. Okay, stay present. We all have happy memories that we enjoy revisiting, and the painful memories in it that we can go. The buzz, nostalgia, and the remorse can be traps, closing us off from new experiences and keeping us locked in the unsolved past and or the good old days. Just say the past is unchangeable, the future is unknowable. That's true. Past is unchangeable. Future is unknowable. A certain amount of planning is useful and a good preparation for various scenarios ahead. But when these thoughts tip into the repetitive anxiety, worry, and unrealistic aspiration, they're all longer and they're no longer productive. Where it feels like a world falling down around you and you're just having a bad day at work and the challenges in the present abound. Realistically, you never reach a point in your life when you are present 100% of the time. That's not the goal. After all, thinking about the good times we've had or valuable lessons we've learned in the past or planning for a future excellent, you just set a mental bandwidth. What you don't want to do is waste your time or regret or worry. Practicing presence and helplessness as a spiritual teacher. Be here now. When your mind continually returns to thoughts of the past or the future, look for the closer in the present. Is your mind seeking to show or distract you? Instead of thinking about what matters in the past or what the future might hold, gently guide your mind back to the moment. Ask yourself questions about right now. Okay. My teacher's description of the circle of love changed my life. Our lack of gratitude is what makes us feel unloved. When I think nobody cares, we need to check ourselves and realize that the love we give out that comes back to us from a variety of sources and in the more general senses. Whatever we put out, the will come back to us. This is an example of karma. The idea that your actions, good or bad, bring the same back to you. When we feel unloved, we need to ask ourselves, am I offering help as often as I ask for help? Who is giving to me without receiving anything in return? It makes sense that a monk could look at the distribution of love and the care as a network of compassion rather than a one-to-one exchange. Monks believe that different people serve different purposes, with each role contributing to our growth in its own way. We have peers for friendship, students to teach, and mentors to learn from and serve. These roles are not wholly tied to age and experience. Every monk is always in every phase of of that circle. Monks believe that these roles aren't fixed. The person who is your teacher one day might be your student the next. Sometimes the senior monks would come to classes with the young monks like you, sitting on the floor and listening to the new monk speak. They weren't there to check on us. They were there to learn for themselves. I was upset because when I felt my care wasn't reciprocated. We often expect too much of others, when you don't have a clear sense of the purpose in our lives. Let's consider characteristics that we look for in people we allow into our lives. You recognize in these people, most of us know at least one person who falls into each of these categories. Okay, competence. Someone who isn't incompetent, if they're not trusting their opinions and recommendations, this person has the right skill to solve your issue. They're an expert and authority in their area. They have experience, references, and a high Yelp rating. Care, we need to know person cares. If we are putting our emotions in their hands, real care means that they're thinking about what is best for you, not what is best for them. Okay. Consistency. People who are consistent may not be the top experts, have the highest character, or care most deeply for you, but they're reliable, present, and available when you need them. They've been with you through highs and lows. Nobody carries an sign announcing what they have to offer us. Observe people's intentions and actions. Are they in alignment? Are they demonstrating what they say they value? Do their values correspond with yours? We learn more from behaviors than promises. Use the four types of trust to understand why you are attracted to a person and whether you are likely to connect as a friend, a colleague, or a romantic partner. Ask yourself, what is my genuine intention for getting involved in this relationship? Jeremy is my go-to spiritual person. I have the utmost trust in his character. But when I told him I wanted to live in a sanctuary and go to the media, he said, I have no idea what you should do. He's one of my most valued advisors, but he wasn't still expect him to have an opinion about my career, and he was wise enough to not to pretend that he had one. My mom would also not to be the best person to ask about their career moves. Like many mothers, she is mostly concerned with my well-being, how I'm feeling, whether I'm eating well, if I'm getting enough sleep. She isn't there with her care and consistency, but she's not going to counsel me to manage my company. I needn't be angry at my mother for not caring about every aspect of my life. Instead, I should save myself the time, energy, attention, and pain, and simply appreciate it, what she is offering. She tends to expect every person to be a complete package, giving us everything we need. This isn't setting the bar impossibly high. It's as hard to find the person as it is to be the person. The poor types of trust will help us keep in mind what we can and can expect from them. Every your partner can provide care, character, competence, and a consistency in all ways and at all times. Care and character, yes, but nobody's competent in all things. And though your partner should be reliable, nobody's consistently available in the way you need them. We expect our life partners to be in everything to complete us. Thanks. But even within that deep and a lifelong union, only you can be your everything. Yeah, 맞아요. Oh my god. To be honest, I hadn't been fully focused on reading. Yes, but here, okay, so we expect our life partner to be everything to complete us. But even within that deep and the lifelong union, only you can be your everything. Beget the ashram with the people who weren't familiar otherwise connect to us give us a realistic perspective. There, it was clear that nobody could or should play every role. Sweeney Simon found 3 C's of trust, competence, caring, and character. Exercises like one of aren't meant to attach labels to people. I'm against the labels, as I explained, because they reduce the meaning of nuances and hues of light, black and white. The monk approach is to look for meaning and absorb what you need to move forward instead of then getting locked in judgment. However, when we apply filters like the 4Cs, we can see if our network and companion is broad enough to guide us through the complexity and chaos of life. Even if we got the 4Cs covered, we benefit from the multiple viewpoints within each of these categories. A mother's care isn't the same as a mentor's. One person with a character might give a great romantic advice, while others might help you through a family argument. And one consistent family might be there for you during a breakup, while others are always available for a spirit hike. Okay. In order to find diversity, we have to be open to new connections. Okay. When you enter a new community, as I entered an ashram, you have a clean slate. You have none of expectations that have already built up among family and friends. Most likely, nobody shares your past. In situations like this, most of us rush to find our people, but the ashram showed me another way. I didn't need to replicate a family, creating a small circle of comfort and trust. People come into your life for a reason, a season or a lifetime. And then there are lifetime people. They stand by your side during the best and worst of the times, loving you even when you're giving nothing to them. 맞아요. When you consider these categories, keep in mind the circle of love. Love isn't a gift without any strings attached. This means that with it comes with the knowledge that not all relationships are meant to endure with equal strength indefinitely. Remember that you are also a season, a reason, and a lifetime friend to the different people at different times. And the role you play in someone else's life won't always match the role they play in yours. Once you have established reasonable expectations from a relationship, okay. It is easy to build and maintain trust. Trust is central to every relationship. Trust means that we believe that a person is being honest with us, that we have our interests at heart, that we will uphold their promises and confidences, and that they will stay true to these intentions in the future. Notice that I didn't say that right all the time and handle every challenge perfectly. Trust is about intentions, not abilities. Yeah. Huh? My throat is a little bit dry. I don't know how to do. Okay. When an important person lets us down, the below to our trust reverberates, okay, reverberation across all our relationships. If people with an best intentions change or don't follow the same path that we do, other people give us plenty of signs that their intention don't match with ours, but we ignore them. And sometimes, if we are more aware, the other people would know not to trust in the first place. Other people's behavior is not always out of our control. So, how can we trust anyone. 맞아요. Pure. No matter what happens, you give them a one another spark. We aren't careful with when and how we give our trust. We either trust other people too easily or we withhold our trust from everyone. Neither of these extremes serve us well. Trusting everyone makes you vulnerable to deception and disappointment. Yes, correct. Trusting no one lives in suspicious and alone. Our level of trust should directly correspond to our experience with a person, growing through 4 stages of trust. It is better to have a neutral trust than to trust in someone for the wrong reasons or to trust them blindly. No matter how dissatisfied you are within a pyramid, don't promote the people without the reason. That will only let you down. The biggest mistake we make is to assume that everyone else in our operates just like us. We believe that others don't value what we value. We believe that what we want in a relationship isn't what others want in a relationship. When someone says, I love you, we think that means exactly what it means when we say, I love you. But if we think everyone is a reflection of ourselves, we fail to see things as they are. We see things as we are. 맞아요. 맞아요. Mutual trust requires patience and commitment. It is built on a true understanding of other person's spirit. In spite. Okay. Understanding about a person in spite of and because of they're separate from us and they view the world differently. The way to step back from making presumptions is to closely observe their words and behaviors. When people show you their level of trust, believe them. I want you to feel grateful for the people you can trust and to feel honored by those who trust you. If you have a neutral trust for someone, that's cool too. Accept the business that they are, and you give them the chance to grow and the prove to be more. We set ourselves up for long-term trust and we let it evolve naturally. Trust is in a daily practice. Relationships really get to the point where both participants can say, I absolutely know this person and they absolutely know me. Like in a curve, then a continual process but never reaches that line. You never get to the point of saying, I trust them fully, and that they trust me fully forever and ever. Trust can be threatened in small and large ways, and needed to be reinforced and rebuilt on a daily basis. Making fulfilling promises in a contractual trust, giving those you care about sincere compliments and constructive criticism, going out of your way to offer support, mutual trust, standing by someone even when they're in a bad place, have made a mistake, or need help that requires a significant time. Pure trust. Giving a romantic relationship wasn't hard to sacrifice. It sounds ridiculous, even impossible, but I knew the purpose behind it. To save the effort and energy that went into being validated in the romantic relationship and to use it to build a relationship with myself. My romantic entanglements hadn't brought me fulfillment, so I wasn't willing to try experiment with self-control and discipline. The rise of energy and the dating world. When you walk into a bar, you look around to see who is attractive, or in this way, do the potential matching all night without giving a second thought to how much time you spend in effort to hook up. But imagine if you could buy the time back for yourself. If you could recall everything you ever invested in a relationship that didn't pan out, that attention and focus could be used for creativity, friendships, and introspection industry. Now, this doesn't mean every failed relationship is a waste of time. On the contrary, we learn from each mistake. Mm. But think of the time around the relationship, waiting for the text, wondering if they like you, trying to make it someone, change it into the person you want them to be. If we are thoughtful about our needs and expectations, and our time and energy go to far better us. But your energy is squandered when it isn't spent tailoring yourself to someone else's ideal or shaping yourself into the person you think he wants it, or suspecting her of cheating on you. There is so much anxiety and negativity around dating, and so much so much pressure to find the one. Never mind whether we are ready or able to settle down with anyone. Again, I'm not suggesting you give up sex, though you certainly could. But what if you give yourself a permission? I'm sorry. What if you give your permission to be a single by yourself, able to focus on your career, your friends, and on your peace of mind? Minister and philosopher Paul Tillich said, our language has in a wider sense these two sides of a man's being alone. It has created the word loneliness to express the pain of being alone. Solitude, yes. And he has created the word solitude to express the glory of being alone. The pain of being alone, the glory of being alone. I spent the 3 years as a monk, 3 years in developing my self-awareness, at the end of which I was able to ask myself the right questions about a relationship. I may not have spent all my waking hours in Sattva, the mode of goodness, but I knew what I wanted to be and how it felt. I had the opportunity to become a person I would want to date. Instead of looking for others to make me happy, I was able to be that person for myself. Wow, beautiful. Okay, my increasing intentionality. My increasing intentionality gives us a clear perspective with which to evaluate what we are initially attracted to people and whether those really support our values. There are 5 primary motivators for connection, and note that these don't exclusively apply to romantic prospects. Physical attraction, you like what they look like. You're drawn to their appearance, style, or presence, or you like the idea of being seen with them. Material, you like their accomplishments and the power and or in positions that this affords them. Intellectual, you like how they think. You're stimulated by their conversation and idea. Emotional, you connect well. They understand your feelings and increase your sense of well-being. Spiritual, you share your deepest goals and values. Okay. When you identify what's attracting you, isn't clear if they're attracted to the whole person or just in a part. In my experience, and as most people know what attracts them to another person, and that will mention some combination of the top 3 qualities: looks, success, and intellect. But those qualities alone don't correlate with the long-term, fortifying relationships. Most believe that someone's looks aren't who they are. The body is only a facet of the soul. Similarly, someone's positions aren't theirs. They certainly don't tell you about a person's character. And even if you're attracted to someone else's intellect, there is no guarantee it will lead to a meaningful bond. These 3 qualities don't correlate with the long-term, fortifying relationships, but they do show your chemistry with another person. The last 2, emotional and spiritual. Point to the more profound, lasting connection. They show your compatibility, quality, not quantity. When it comes to the energy we spend and the recent relationship, the focus is on quality, not quantity. I often hear from guilty parents, usually moms, and they feel bad having to work long hours and they lose out. Okay, and they lose out on time with their kids. According to the first ever largest scale study of the impact of mother's time, it is the quality of time spent with kids, not the quantity, that counts. That means you don't put away your phone during the family time. I'm not a parent, but I know that as a child, I always felt my mom's energy. I never measured how much time she spent with me. My mother worked, and as a young child, I went to the daycare. I don't have any single memory from the daycare. No painful memories of her absence. But I do remember her coming in and pick me up. She'd always smile and then ask about my day. This is true in all relationships. Nobody wants to sit with you at the dinner while you're on the phone. This is where we confuse time and energy. We can spend a whole hour with someone, but only give them 10 minutes of energy. I'm not able to spend much time with my family, but when I'm with them, I'm 100% there. I'd rather spend 2 hours with them and focus and engaged than give them a partial, distracted energy for the whole weekend. A monk shows love during the presence and attention. In the ashram, time invested was never seen as a reliable measure of care or engagement. As I mentioned after meditation, nobody asked how long you meditated. They asked how deep you got. Instead of flow, right? Okay, if we have it together, it'd be like great. But what is the quality of the conversation? Think like amongst you in terms of energy management, not time management. Energy management, not time management. Are you bringing your full presence and attention to someone? Okay, try this. Hand of attention thieves. These days, most of us are losing a battle for our attention. The victors on our screen. The only way to give another person your complete attention for a period of time is to turn off your screens, of course. To give someone in your life to focus on they deserve, sit down with them to agree on rules surrounding the phone, the laptop, and the TV. Choose specific activities that will be your quality time without distraction. Agree to turn off your phones and put them in another room or leave them at home. This may be a challenge at first. Perhaps in a conversation will lack, or friends or even colleagues will be frustrated because they can't reach you. Setting these boundaries will establish new expectations on both fronts. Lapses in conversation will loosen their awkwardness. Friends and colleagues will accept that you are not available 24/7. Most couples don't sit down together to draw up a list of values and see whether they share them. But once we have a clarity about ourselves, we can connect with others in a more intentional way. The Abdesumutra talks about the 6 loving exchanges to encourage bonding and growing together. There are 3 types of exchanges, each involves giving and receiving, thus adding up to 6. They help us build a relationship based on generosity, gratitude, and service. Okay, get. Giving charity and receiving whatever is offered in return. This seems obvious and maybe even materialistic. We don't want to invite each other in an affection, but think about what it means to give another person with attention. You get flowers for your parents and for Valentine's Day. This is a very conventional gesture, so consider whether it is one that brings corner the most joy. A flower it is. Did you walk them past in a flower shop 6 months ago to susan out of their presence in preparation for this day? Or did the text in a secret query to the closest friend? Both actions entail a lot more attention than just ordering some roses on my thought. Of course, it's better than completely forgetting the day. Is Valentine's Day the best moment to express your love, or would an unexpected gesture be even more meaningful? Have you taken the time to contemplate what your friend would really like? Maybe it is an object, but an action, a service, or time. Cleaning their car, organizing activities, and helping them with their obligations, or bringing them in some place beautiful. You can bring the same thoughtfulness to receiving a gift. Are you grateful for the effort that went into the gift? Do you understand why and what it means for giver? Conversation. Listening is one of the most thoughtful gifts we can give. There is no better way to show that we care about another person's experience. Listening intentionally means looking for the emotions behind the words, asking questions to further understand, and cooperating what you've learned into your knowledge of the other person. Doing your best to remember what they said and following up where relevant. Listening also involves creating an atmosphere of trust where the person feels welcome and safe. It is also important to share your own thoughts and dreams, hopes and worries. The vulnerability of exposing yourself is a way of giving trust and showing respect for another person's opinion. It enables the other person to understand the previous experiences and the beliefs you bring to whatever you do together. The sex love exchange lay foundation for any close relationship, but most of us are looking for the one. When researchers count the children data, they find a single factor that relies on predicting the quality of the participants' lives. Love. Participants could have every other external marker for success: money, a drive a career, good physical health, but if they didn't have loving relationships, they weren't happy. With the encouragement of online quizzes and the dating apps, we listen to the characteristics we want in a partner: sense of humor, caring, good looking. But we don't look at what they really need. How do you want to be cared for? What makes us feel loved? Love is birth. The woman who would become my wife already had this self-knowledge too. We don't live for the same journey I made. She knew she wanted to be with someone spiritually connected, with the higher morals and values. I believe she would have done just fine without me. But I know my life would have been different, full of pain, if I hadn't taken the time to work on myself before diving into a serious relationship. Love is birth. Love is ability. Love is the absence of judgment. Love is also patient. It's kind. And apparently, love is all you need. With so many definitions of inner culture, it's all a bit confusing. And I was confused despite all my monk experience, my self-exploration, and intentionality and compassion. Okay. If you don't know what you want, you will send out the wrong signals and attract the wrong people. Yes. If you aren't self-aware, you will look for the wrong qualities and choose the wrong people. This work isn't what we've talked about in Israel like this book. Until you understand yourself, you won't be ready for love. Sometimes we find ourselves making the same mistakes over and over again, attracting the same sort of an incompatible partner or in picking them in spite of ourselves. And this happens. It isn't bad a luck. It's a clue that we have in a heart to do. The monk perspective isn't that you carry pain. You train and find people to ease the pain, but only you can do that. If you don't work through it, it stays with you and interferes with your decisions. There are problematic people who emergently reflect your unsolved issue, and they will keep reappearing until you learn the lesson you need to learn. As a linear, until you heal the wounds in your past, you will continue to bleed. You can't bandage the bleeding with the food, with the alcohol, with the drug, with work, with the cigarettes, with sex. But eventually it will all ujiu through and restrain your life. You mustn't find the strength to turn open the wounds. Stick your hands inside. Pull out the core of the pain that is holding you in the past, the memories, and make peace with them. Once you unpack your own bags and you've healed yourself mostly, then you will come to relationship ready to give. You won't be looking at them to solve your problems or feel a whole. Nobody completes you. You are not half. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to come to a place that will give it. Instead of straining anyone else, you are not rushing them. Remember when we talk about the mind, we said that happiness comes when you are learning, progressing, and achieving. And then as a relationship lengthens, so we tend to long for the honeymoon phase. When you were first falling in love, how many times in have been in a relationship have said to yourself, I wish I could feel like that again, or I wish I could go back to that time. But going to the same place for dinner, or the place that you had in the first kiss, won't bring back all the magic. Many of us are so addicted to recreating the same experiences that we don't make any space for new ones. What you're actually doing at the start of your relationship was creating new memories with energy and openness. Love is kept alive by creating more new memories, by continuing to learn and grow together. Fresh experiences and bring excitement into your life and build a stronger bond. I have many recommendations for activities couples can do together, but here are a couple of my favorites in drawn from the monk principles. It can be hard to see clearly when your heart is at stake, but there is one point I want to make abundantly clear. There is a difference between being grateful for what you have and setting for the less than you deserve. If we're still listening to our child minds, we attract to people who aren't good for us, but make us feel better in the moment. Don't wrap your self-esteem around someone else. Nobody deserves a bubble, emotional or physical abuse. It is better to be alone, nor should we allow an abusive, manipulative, or toxic relationship to transition into friendship. The dramatic one change, trust me, in every relationship you have opportunity to set the level of joy you expect and the level of pain you will accept. No relationship is perfect. But if joy never reaches a certain height or holds to a low average, that won't change unless both put in a lot of work. The same is true for how much it is open and you willing to bear. Your connection may get a slow start. It can take a while to know each other, but if it never reaches a satisfying level, you need to decide whether to accept it or move it. I know it's not easy when you spend a quality of time with someone, when you've invested in someone, when you've given yourself to someone. It's so hard to let go. The strategist, points out that often mistaken attachment for love. She says we imagine that our grasping and clinging that we have in our relationship shows that we love, whereas actually it is just an attachment which causes pain. because then the more we grasp and then we are afraid to lose. Then if we do lose, then of course we are going to suffer. Ultimately, holding on to the wrong person causes us to more pain than the letting them go. The strategies I recommend to overcome heart-back tie directly the monk ideas of self and how we find our way toward peace and purpose. No matter what thought we have, we don't run away from it. We give ourselves the space and access and make changes by stop, swap. You can also do question meditation. Ask yourself about the loss. We like to replay the emotions. How perfect it was. How it could be. How we thought I was going to go. Instead of reflecting on how romantic the relationship was before, it crashed and it burned. Focusing on reality. Learn from the situation. While we're in hopes for the relationship, what did you lose? Is your disappointment tied to who the person was or who they weren't? Explore your emotions until you uncover the root of the pain and the disruption. Learn from the situation. Movies, music, and other media send us unlimited, often inaccurate messages about what love should look like. Use the reality, the breakup to set realistic expectations about what you deserve and the need from a new relationship, and then remember that yours can be different from the person you broke up with or the next person to come along. What was the biggest expectation you had that wasn't met? What was important to you? What wasn't a good in relationship? What was bad? What wasn't your role in its demise? Instead of exploiting your pain here, you want to investigate the working of the relationship in order to identify what you want from your next relationship and what you might have to work on in yourself. Believe in your worth. You may undervalue yourself in the moment of breakup, but your value doesn't depend on someone's ability to appreciate you. If you wrap your identity around a relationship, the pain you feel is that you hadn't sacrificed another part of your identity. If you expected one person to fulfill all your needs, then of course there is a vacuum when they're gone. Now that you're single, use this time to build a community of people with a shared interest whom you want to be in your life forever. Make yourself whole. You need to find someone who makes you happy. Wait before you're dating again. Remember, if you hadn't inhaled the past pain, you might miss an next opportunity for an incredible connection with an incredible person. Don't rebound or revenge date. This only causes more hurt and regret that spread further. A virus of pain. Instead of taking some time to get to know yourself better, build your self-esteem, invest in your growth. If you've lost yourself in a relationship, find yourself in the heartbreak. The monk wisdom build awareness, address, and amend. Either within a relationship or before we enter one, we take a step back to evaluate and to make sure we understand our own intentions, that we can venture into the dating world and return to the relationship with self-awareness and love. Stop, spot, sweat.